I started this literally back in August of last year. I was taking a load of organic oats to the Mount Tabor mill. I just got off the phone with a representative from Richland County who was upset because they weren't going to be able to pay their bills, and of course shared revenue came up. So then I called somebody from Wisconsin Counties Association and I said, is anybody working on this? And they said, well, Senator Fiskowski from the Senate has similar concerns about rural areas, and I have a very rural area. And our wonderful colleagues have been to my area, and I appreciate that, and I look forward to coming over to theirs. And so I called Senator Fiskowski, and I said, Senator Fiskowski, Mary, are you working on something with shared revenue to help small rural communities? She goes, yes. And I said, well, I'd like to do something on the Assembly side and be your partner. That's actually how this all started. Just trying to help our rural communities. November, after the election, we started bringing in all the stakeholders. The Wisconsin Counties Association, which, by the way, has 71 members. The only one member that's not a member of the Wisconsin County Association is Dane County. And oh, by the way, Dane County gets a 256% increase in this plan, by the way. Then it was the Wisconsin League of Municipalities, and they represent 190 cities and 408 villages. They were at the table. And the Wisconsin Towns Association, which has over 1,200 members. So they have all been at the table since this November. They have been part of this plan. They have been part of the formulas. As a matter of fact, one of their guys did the formulas, helped with the formulas, formulated the formulas. So I guess some of you said, this has just started, it was done in, secrecy. Far from it. And I bring up all those organizations because it is virtually impossible to bring up 1,200 township chairmen to the Capitol. You could do it, but we have representatives from those organizations that come and speak on their behalf. Just like you and I, Mr. Speaker, in this chamber, we represent roughly 59,000 people that put their confidence in us to come to this chamber and write good legislation for our constituents. And I stress that because those three organizations support this plan. And do you know why? Because they were at the table for this plan. Just like my colleague on the Joint Finance Committee said that it was kind of depressing, because it is kind of depressing. We have all had those organizations in our offices. We know those people. We trust those people. But yet, my gosh, this is a horrible plan. It's not ready for prime time. Although we started prime time back in November. There is a point you've got to get it done. The beautiful city of Milwaukee. I live literally 156 miles from the city of Milwaukee. I want Milwaukee to succeed. I can honestly say this. I probably got half of my constituents that probably have never been in the city of Milwaukee. And I get asked, why is Milwaukee part of this plan? And I said, because Milwaukee literally could go bankrupt. And in my humble opinion, that could hurt the state. So back in January, well, let's go back. Even last summer, a bunch of Republicans actually took their time and drove to Milwaukee and listen to the presentation by the county and the city on their financial problems. We took our time to do that. My former colleague, Senator Dale Koenga, and our colleague right here, and I got to look her name, I'm sorry, I should know her number, our colleague from the 21st, started this last session to say, what can we do for Milwaukee? And I know my colleague from the 18th was there too, saying we've got to do something. So back in January, we met with the city, we met with the county numerous times, back and forth about give us reforms. And they did. They showed a lot of reform that they truly have done over the years. And we kept saying we need more. And they'd come back with more. And then we'd go back and forth. And the amazing thing about it, some of the things that's in this bill that people are complaining about are ideas they gave us. Not all, to be fair, but they did, and they're in this bill. And then over the last really 6 to 7 weeks, we've had the mayor of Milwaukee, the county executive of Milwaukee, we had the majority leader of our assembly, minority leader of our assembly here, the majority leader from the Senate, the majority leader from the Senate, and then the speaker, all at the same table. And I asked Bob Lang, everybody knows who Bob Lang is. He's an institution in himself. I asked him, I said, when was the last time you have seen all these elected officials at the same table? And he said, I do not recall. I even asked somebody from the city of Milwaukee who's been associated with this city for over 20 years, and he said he had never seen the mayor, the county executive, the majority leader, and the speaker sitting at the same table together. And so when people say this was done at darkness, in the middle of the night, that is furthest from the truth. It's been hard. It's been difficult. People have had very tough conversations about what the future looks like. Is this bill perfect? Hell no, it's not perfect. Do I like everything in here? I do not. But there's one thing I learned really quick when I got elected in November of 2018. If I want perfect, I'm going to be in the wrong chamber. This is about a 72% solution. Maybe PolitiFact can check that 72%. I don't know. But there's been compromise. In the amendment, we moved. Once again, this has been worked on for months. And I said this to my colleagues the other day. I said, I understand why this has been over 2 decades of people not wanting to do this. There has not been a will. We have a will. The Counties Association, the League, the Wisconsin Towns Association, the City of Milwaukee, the County of Milwaukee. There is a will now. There's a will in the governor's office. And to let this opportunity go truly hurts the entire state of Wisconsin. Not just the beautiful village of Waniwak, not just Milwaukee, but the entire state. I equate this to kind of the budget. And some of you, I know we got a lot of wonderful new members, but in a month and a half, we're going to be in the same chamber debating the budget. And the vast majority, a good part of you are going to vote no, Mr. Speaker. But then you're going to go back And you're going to say, man, you know, we got this in there, we got that in there. And that's how this bill's going to work. You're going to vote no today. But yet, when this gets signed into law, you're going to go back and you say, yeah, I got a 100% increase for my community. I got a 21% increase for the city of Janesville. That's why I really would hope you'd reconsider. This is literally generational. It's something that has taken decades to get to. Just like the gentleman from the 88. He's worked on this before. He knows how hard this has been. And the point is, this has not been done in darkness. This has been very open. It's something I am truly proud of the teamwork of my staff, of the speaker's staff, of the co-chair's staff, the staff from Milwaukee, the mayor, the county exec, everybody worked together to come up with this plan. And that's why I am so proud. In a few minutes, I'm going to push my wonderful green little button and vote yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For the body is